Hello, friends and family. How are you today? Today, I'm gonna talk about one of my nightmares. And for the longest time, I was wondering who are those people? Why are they in my dreams? Um, those are dreams of variety of scenes, um, their blood, their buses, and there's always a mid-aged man was kind of dragged out by four a little bit ferocious men. Just whenever I'm stressed, I have this kind of dream. I was always wondering, why am I dreaming about this? Um, who are those people? Those those men who are kind of violent and dragging that mid-aged man. They were wearing some average blue colors, all over which was quite a popular color uh, in Cultural Revolution. Why do I have that dreams? Um, then recently, I watched some things about the Cultural Revolution, and I just think and think and think. Um, it gotta be sometime around 1973. It was summertime. Um, that Liu Shaoqi's son was getting paraded every other day or so. And then there were times that he was hiding in my parents' kitchen, which was a very dark little room. So dark that you can see nothing. So that kitchen was kind of dirty. And um, one one day I was talking with, I guess, Liu Shaoqi's grandson, playing around at our house. All of a sudden, four people jumped in. I was like, what? And they rushed into the kitchen and dragged out Uncle and put him out to parade. Um, but usually we could always blame it on my grandma, because she can always say that he begged her and she just turned very soft-hearted and let him in, things like that. So we can always do that. But on my dad's side, my dad and Liu Shaoqi's son, they're good colleagues, they're good co-workers. At that time, Beijing, Shanghai, they have a lot of steel companies. We were the only one who had our own oxygen, and we were selling our oxygen to other steel companies. and we produce our oxygen with our own machines. Well, instead of like, unlike other companies, they have to import from Soviet Union or later from Japan. At the time, with uncle, with my dad and a whole bunch of other technology people, we could have our own oxygen produced through the kind of um, they call a whole bunch of raw materials that people see are kind of garbage looking stuff. So I think that was pretty cool. So um um so that was my dream. That must have happened many times. Otherwise, I wouldn't appear in my dreams so often. And there were times that there was one time that I even told an uncle, and someone came into our house. Anybody in your house? I said, my uncle's in the kitchen, and and then he got dragged out. And later on, I think his son, um, that later he was a tall glass guy, and would take me out to play for a while, and then take me home. And I just to figure out a whole bunch of um, blue suit people would come in and drag him out of our kitchen. So I think Liu Shaoqi's grandson definitely wasn't born in 1965, because otherwise we wouldn't be the little couple that little couple that eat together, play together, and sometimes even sleep together. That of course we get along really well. Probably for the longest time after his dad died, he was still wondering his dad didn't die, actually was hiding in my mom and dad's kitchen. Let me tell you, don't ask that question anymore, because at the time it's not possible. That day when uncle disappeared, I was sitting with uncle at last, and then my dad asked me to go home. And I did ask my dad whether I could take uncle with. My dad turned around, and when I got back home, I think it's some kind of police officer people sitting in our house, and along with some elderly ladies who's in charge of the whole residential area. And I didn't see any police officer outside the building, because I think I was told they flipped over the walls and snuck into everybody's home. So that day, it was completely impossible for anybody to hide him. Yeah, later, um, I'll talk about it in another video about how that kid crying and how the rocks flying, huge rocks, like, I don't know, almost as definitely bigger than my head at the time, flying overall solved all those things. I'll talk about it another time. Um, Thank you for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.